Hello.
How are you?
Good.
I don't know what to do. Um,
I'm between Melissa and Victoria, between one of them.
you know, I've heard Melissa's name. Victoria, I understand last time where people were coming from saying Victoria's name. People were saying she was quieter side. People were saying that she, is very smart, this and that. Um, but I don't know. I feel like I talked to Victoria quite a bit, like in messages, and we even had a Zoom call once with Phil, and I feel like in that I feel like it wasn't that she was being quiet. I feel like it might just be the big rooms. Um, and so I feel good about her. But again, at the same time, we're what, 10 people left, so I don't want to write her off
Yeah.
completely. So I totally get that. And then for, as far as Melissa, I don't know much about her. We have talked a couple times. We had a group chat once that kind of went silent. I know one time she was acting like confused at the round table, if it started yet or not. But like other than that, like I don't know. Coming in from last time, my initial thought was Anthony. One, he's a returner, so I feel like that theory was there, and it's funny enough that Stick and Tina are gone already, so like it just leaves him. And my other thing
Yeah.
is about like his whole like swearing on his dog. And again, I understand people are, dogs are important and everything, but it happened in the US version of the Traitors. I don't know if have you watched the US version?
Yeah.
Yeah, so Danielle swore on her grandchildren, and so that was kind of iffy for me. A couple people were saying that like, oh,
Yeah.
he's trustworthy and stuff, but I don't know. That's kind of where my head is at right now. I'm putting my cards out there.
Yeah. Definitely. Like, I'm not too sure who else, like, but definitely Melissa and Victoria are my two.
Okay, let's go. I'll go to the first breaker. Move to the second. Do you want to reconvene in a little bit?
Yep.
Okay, I'll go to the dew pond.
Same. I just got thrown here. Hello.
Hello.
How's it going? Any thoughts? Any speculation?
I was just in the other room and they were talking about voting for Brad. So I'm not sure. What do you think, Matt?
I don't.
Aside from the fact that he wasn't really.
I don't think I'm voting for Brad. I don't. I do still think it's dangerous to throw votes. I do think it's dangerous to not contribute to the conversation, but I don't think it would be wise to put my vote on someone like Brad at this time.
What's the argument there? Like, why Brad?
Basically, how he's throwing votes on people that he feels aren't traitors, but you have to put a vote somewhere. I guess when you continue that, it looks a little sus. That's like kind of the argument, but I don't know. He made it very clear why he's busy. You know, it's not like he's withholding the information.
Yeah.
But it is something I'm looking at. But I just don't think Brad's the vote tonight.
Do you have a preference of someone else?
Well, my suspicions have been growing with regarding Melissa. Patrice had kind of like opened the floor for her to kind of contribute. And I just, again, it's the same thing. I just feel like it's more agreeing as opposed
But
to.
I had to name a name for her instead of.
And
Yeah.
Patrice was very straight up, like, "Are you gonna name a name?" And at this point, if you're not comfortable naming a name, then it's almost like you're waiting to hear what everybody else says to decide what name is the best name to choose.
That's exactly what Jonathan is doing right now, but we're used
Well,
to do it with you.
I've named names every round, so I'm listening this round. So
Yeah, that's what I want to do too. But it's even worse than that, Matt, because I said, okay, so are you going to name a name? And then she said, well, it's someone. I said, so are you talking about Brad? And she had to say, yeah. So I'm like, oof, it's, it's heavy. Like, just say what's on your mind. I don't understand what's going on.
the thing is, it would be one thing if you're like uncomfortable saying it in a certain group of people. I can understand that a little bit more. Maybe not necessarily at the round table because things should be said. But it's another thing where like I'm actually not getting anything from her when we're talking one on one, and she like I feel like she avoids me. So is that my name tonight that I want to say? I don't know about that. I don't know that I want to vote that. But is it Do I see your point? Sure. Yeah, because
But I
it's not
feel
being
like
helpful.
it could be a vote for the next tribal if we have more ammunition. But for tonight, I feel like it's a little thin. I don't know.
Sorry, I joined late, guys. Who are we talking about?
We're talking about Melissa.
Oh, I see. Okay.
She felt like she could vote for Brad, but she wasn't sure. And then it was all floppy when Matt and I talked about that.
I would also say like a con for Melissa for me right now would be that would have been a pro if Stick was still in the game. I feel like I would be able to suss more things out. I don't know if that gives me anything at this point.
Mm.
Whereas I feel like other people could potentially. So I don't know. I'd have to hear more about that.
Mm.
I
What do
heard
you think?
I was
Go
just gonna say I heard Brandon's name was thrown out. I thought that was interesting.
I
That
also
was
heard
somebody
that.
that was somebody that Melissa threw out along with Brad. Was Brandon. I don't know about that.
I don't know
Any
about that
specific
either.
reasons or signs?
I'm sorry?
Any specific reasoning or signs or?
No, she just threw him out. It was kind of like Patrice was like getting her to say a name, and then when Patrice said Brad, she like agreed with the Brad thing, and then she just threw in Brandon as well.
I get
Like
Brandon's a
confused
bit
on
of
it,
a like a wild card, but I'm like, I don't know that I see Traitor. I played with Brandon before.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Patrice, do you have any thoughts
Sometimes
on that, or
sometimes does he can he get mixed like as a faithful, like in his lies, or if you played with him before, like
Oh, he would misspeak a lot in the mall. Absolutely. And
misspeak,
I
you
worked,
mean?
yeah, misspeak in the mall. In the mall
Mm.
when we were playing together.
But that doesn't mean that he's a traitor. But yeah, I just caught him saying like one thing and a completely different thing tonight.
I
But
do I like personally I think Brandon is trying to like lay low with the connection to Caleb, and like I don't necessarily believe all the I would have voted him out kind of a thing, all that stuff. I think they're probably protecting each other, but as far as anything else goes, I don't know. I to me he's very transparent. They are very transparent.
yeah, but last night he said in front of a few people like Caleb is really different from the game I've played with. He's throwing names like crazy. And I told him, I was just in the room with him, and I asked him like, "Can I ask you about that?" Because Adam said that you said, and he said, "Oh my God, no, I've never said that. Like I've played with him before, and it's completely the same." I was like, "Oh, okay, Brandon. So unless you forgot that he said that and he's genuine, but
Mm-hmm.
I remember I was there, and he said the exact opposite, which is weird."
That's unfortunate that yeah, I mean the person who heard him say that or heard them say that's not here anymore. So
No, but I was there. I heard it again. But
oh you
I used that I heard that from a person, and
uh,
then but I heard it afterwards when we were like a group of people after the vote.
that'd be a great question to bring up tonight. I would love to hear an answer to that, but
Yes,
Yeah.
please.
yeah. But I mean like yeah. I don't
It doesn't
know.
mean anything. It's
I don't
Caleb,
know.
what do you think? You have
I
to
don't
vote for
know. I mean,
somebody. You have to you have to have an opinion. Oh,
Or not. He might have got pulled.
Mhm.
He's gone.
I hope
There were
so.
a lot of us in here, yeah.
So, Victoria, it seems like your name's going to be thrown out tonight by Brendan. So, again, that's what I heard. So, you're going to have to be prepared.
Mhm. Yeah,
It's like you can't escape.
yeah, because he just left the room when I joined it, so I assumed that.
Yeah.
Brandon said that last time as we were closing out the last night. I said, "Who are you on?" or whatever, and Brandon was like, "Victoria." But I mean, I don't know. It's just giving like I want to go for a traitor, not just a bad faithful. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, so I'm the bad faithful in that case?
No. I'm saying if Brandon's throwing out
Oh,
your name
oh,
because they're like just like you
mhm,
know,
The
Yeah.
blinders.
mhm.
yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So I don't know. I like the names that are coming up tonight. All I've heard is Brad, Brandon, and now you, and Melissa. So the like that. Oh, that's rough. I think those are probably like. I mean, I don't know. It's a good chance that there'll be some. Wait, who's pushing these names? This is one I need to start remembering
Mm-hmm.
about these narratives here. I don't know. Those aren't good names for me.
Victoria, I told people coming in tonight that I'm not counting you out, but I'm going to listen to what people have to say. And again, I feel like people haven't given me enough reason to vote for you. I just want that out there. I don't think I'm going to vote for Victoria again. I get what people are saying, but I feel like it's about perspective, and I don't think I'm going to go towards you tonight.
Oh,
But between Brad, Brandon, and Melissa, like you said, Jonathan, I don't think Brandon is one of them. I don't want to underestimate him, but I just don't. I don't think it could be Brandon. I know Patrice had some good ideas and some things that he doesn't want to say yet. I'll leave that up to him, but
Mm-hmm.
I wish he would. Um, yeah.
Interesting. Interesting. Yeah, it's tough. This is getting tougher and tougher.
Mhm.
Wow.
Especially if you think there's three. Like that's just crazy. I'm looking at
I
everybody's
do.
names
I
thinking,
do think there's
how the
three.
hell are we picking three?
The problem is like when it's someone that like, you maybe trust and then you can't see
Yeah,
it, or if you like
exactly.
really like them and you don't want
Yeah.
to accuse them, or
Yeah.
you get into all these different dynamics, and it's like,
Mhm.
I get people are afraid to put themselves out there because when you do, like when I did earlier, it's like you end up in this battle, right? And it's like not a nice position to be in. So I get that, and if people are trying to avoid that, it's like, well, traitors are trying to avoid it, but also faithfuls who don't want to be accused are trying to avoid it. So it's like it's tough. And I agree with what Adam said last round. Like, just because someone speaks up, I don't want to be like,
Yeah, exactly.
which, you know what I mean? Like, no. Um, but I'm hoping that we just hear some like valid points and like some maybe things that I don't know that's going on that comes to light, hopefully. But I'm pretty open.
oh,
Do you feel?
so out
Do
of
you?
sorry.
No, you got.
Oh, because you mentioned Brandon, Melissa, Brad, and then me. So you don't think there's a traitor in that four, Jonathan?
If there was, for me, it would be Brad.
Oh, because I feel like it's him, but I don't know.
And then I'd like second would be maybe Melissa, but I mean, that's not a strong.
I have the same too, Jonathan. If I was going tonight prior to Melissa, neither are super strong.
Mm-hmm. Oh, my dog's barking. Yeah.
Hello, Patrice.
Hello. You were talking about someone not being super strong.
We're just saying that no, not that they're not super strong. We're saying that of the names that we're thinking of, it's not like a strong suspicion, or it's not that they've been giving off strong vibes. But at
Yeah.
this point, it's like got to go
Yeah, right.
something or hear valid arguments at the round table.
Yeah.
Right now, the word is that Brad might go against Melissa, and Melissa is going to go against Brad.
Those are the two names you were just saying.
Yeah.
And Victoria, I think you're going to be safe because you're going to be caught in between because Brendan is probably going to vote for you, from what I believe. And Brendan, I still have to have sometimes to ask the questions that I wanted. But if he's a traitor and he doesn't go and I lay everything on the table, I'm just going to be killed next. But it is what it
I
is.
mean, if you have a convincing argument, I'm very open. I'm
Yeah,
willing,
but
just because I don't think someone's a traitor initially going into this doesn't mean you can't convince me otherwise. If you have some
We have
especially with
30
how they
seconds.
respond. So
Keep chatting, guys. Sorry, I got to run and grab paper. I don't even have paper in my kitchen. I'll be back. Or this is closing anyways.
yeah, we only have 15 minutes to.
the thing is, Jonathan, is that I want to be sure because even if it looks suspicious, if he ends up being a faithful, then we're pretty much fucked. So
We need to get a traitor today.